Gosh, I do you want me to why is your friend on the camera? I don't know. I don't. That's how we've been talking all day. I almost feel obligated. We just made that video. Did you want or what's happening now? Gosh, it thing's complicated. But the thing is, like, this was also the day we saw that video. That incredibly. That's really cuts deep. See a YouTube video like that. A girl who's your mother got taken away by INS. That's something that we still haven't made the video about. Is there's a hunger strike going on, rightly so, and it's part of what it's about. Is like they want people want the Dream Act passed. That's also what that guy that was an amazing moment where I've never seen what Obama did. That was an unusual moment for a leader. I'd love to see if there's a historical analog to that in our country, that someone was screaming from the crowd and like sort of security moved in and everything and everything, and Obama turned away from his speech. It wasn't even about that, and he told the security, like, no, they can stay, and then he actually answered the person. Okay, so it's that serious, and people are hunger striking. But people should be aware, because our political class may do nothing about it, what that Dream Act is. There are people, by the way, like this whole thing with immigration reform, and people aren't really aware how people in that YouTube video really like got, it's amazing to see something. It's heartbreaking to see that. But here's the thing: these are people that are getting harassed all the time by the INS. That's the immigration authorities are really like, they do all kinds of things and they live in fear. But here's the thing: the Dream Act that's something that, again, I mean, that's rational. Like there are people who came to the country illegally, okay, like took these risks to get in, but they're illegal. But they've been here so long, they have kids who are now like teenagers going to school in the country. I mean, they're here, whether or not they have a green card. They're the second generation. Yes, their parents came here illegally, but they're on their way. They're getting an education here. They speak English. They're basically a citizen in an objective sense. That to make the Dream Act would make sure like such people can get citizenship quite quickly and aren't in danger of deportation. That would be logical. It's a teenager who was born here. Parents went through this. Parents are illegal immigrants, but this is the situation where they were born here and now they're like a teenager looking to make on their way to could be in high school getting a scholarship to college. They should get citizenship, a path to citizenship really quickly, and not be in danger of being deported or harassed by the INS. That's like urgent, that Dream Act thing. Even to the point where the president interrupted a speech at something else and had a back and forth with a heckler, what would be called a heckler, but Obama took it seriously, rightly so. There's been a hunger strike going on for weeks over it. I don't know if the political class is responding to that or anything, and the public isn't made aware. There's they just keep saying, a matter of fact, they're not made aware partly because they want it in play for upcoming elections. They want to keep the comprehensive immigration thing in play. A lot of times they do that. They don't act on something where it's really affecting people because it's like a good political football to win elections or not win elections or put in a speech or something. So they just keep it in limbo. But that Dream Act, I don't know if there's you can't say enough people can't be saying like that's got to be passed. What holds that up? Well, we have democratic forms, but they don't function. We learned that recently with all this stuff to the point where the government shut down. So there's that's something people should really recognize. If the political class doesn't do something with that fast, that also should be a bipartisan thing. They're always talking about things they could agree on. That they should agree on. That's so that you want us to say it's hard to know when we're getting yellow numbers and this is a different day for us. But that video you directed me to. That's really hard to watch. Girl, just got. As a matter of fact, I think she was even she was even working as like a staffer for like a congressperson, and her mother got dragged away by INS, maybe deported. Okay, that's the level of lack of genuine concern for like immigrants in this country. a lot of people like to, your friend here and other people that may be in our thing, grandparents came in, Eastern European immigrants and stuff. So that's a sensitive issue for every American. Everyone was came from an immigrant background. You don't want to, and they're all subject to persecution when they get here, or initially. Talk about, signs that said, Nina, no Irish need apply, like all that stuff. There's always racism and crazy harm to immigrants, and then they, 3 generations, and you're doing fine in the country. That's the whole point. So that should be something the political class agrees on and gets done really fast. Matter of fact, it's interesting what we learn about why you want the executive branch to have a certain ability to not be hamstrung by a bunch of narcissistic whack jobs in the Congress. The guy who was the yelled at Obama, and then he stopped his speech to speak to him. He was hoping that Obama could make an executive order to get that Dream Act passed, and Obama said, no, let me answer him. He said, actually, I can't. I don't have the power to. Subtext being, and, or the next statement he could have said is, and, like, you're aware of what's happening to our Congress, that it's totally like it's as though we don't have a Congress. But that's something you might also want us to mention.